Oh, hello there. I'm the Dizzy Witch, but for you it's Daisy. Welcome to my bedroom. I know there has been a few changes in the background lately. I'm sorry about that. It's gonna happen a lot for some time. Because I was living with my parents from March till August. Then in August I went to my boyfriend, and now I'm back at my own place. So I'm gonna stay here for a bit. Hopefully in October I'll be for a week at my boyfriend's if Corona decides to leave us in peace. And in December I'll be back at my parents, and then I'll be back here. And yeah, hopefully after that there's not much changes, but I might also change, move out of here at some point. So yeah, I'm sorry about it. It's gonna be inconsistent, but at least it changes. Yeah, anyways. So, about deities and deity work, because I see a lot of misconceptions, I'd say, and people seem very confused about deity work. And as with everything, they have these closed, pre-packaged ideas of what they're supposed to do. So we're gonna try to dive into this, explain a little bit how it works, how deities and deity work works, and see if it's for you. Okay, so the first thing about deity or deities is, what are they? What even is a deity? A deity, according to Cambridge Dictionary, is a spirit or a being believed to control some part of the universe. Bonjour. Believed to control some part of the universe or life, and often worshipped for this. And often worshipped for controlling this part of the universe or of life. Je suis un peu occupée. Okay, why not? Anyways, so yeah, that's what a deity is. And for example, as a deity you can have the Christian God or a Norse God. It can go from any, it can be the universe. Some people worship the universe as a deity, a spirit or a being that, is the universe. It's really up to each and every one, up to each and every religion. And there's no rule to it unless you're in a specific religion, of course. Another question you might have now, I said a deity is often worshipped for controlling part of the universe or of life. What does worshipping mean? And how is it different from working with? So worshipping is simply believing in a deity and making offerings and prayers to them. Worshipping is a one-way relationship. And the one way is you give to the deity, and that's all. You don't ask anything in return, you just give. With a little, there's a little twist to it, because when you worship a deity and you pray to it, you expect, your prayers to be heard and manifested, or you expect the deity to help you. But there's a fine line between praying to a deity to give thanks, to reassure your faith in them, and praying to a deity to ask something. If you ask something of a deity in exchange for your worshipping, for your offerings, this becomes a two-way relationship. You give to the deity and you expect the deity to give to you. Both give and take from each other. And that is really important. And some people tend to forget that. Like, you can't just ask from a deity. You can just give, but you can just receive. You have to give something in order to be returned something else by the deity. And it makes sense. Imagine if you're with a friend and you constantly have to give them something. They ask constantly stuff from you, services, money, whatever it is, but they never return it to you. They just take it as, well, given, as if it's their right to have something out of you, and they don't show any gratitude for your help. They're not a real friend, right? You're gonna be tired of it really quick. You're gonna stop doing anything for them, and ultimately your relationship is gonna rot. It's gonna become just anger and frustration. Well, with deities it is the same. If you only ask from them and you don't thank them, you don't do anything for them, they're gonna stop working with you. Or they might as well just not work with you at all if you don't give first. And that is one of my most important points today. Deities are not your tool. Deities are whole, complete beings who are more powerful than you are, and more powerful than you will ever be, and they shall not be used as a tool. Like, it's just, they're not a tool, they're a being. And you can believe in them or not, but it doesn't change, like, their nature. And a way that I like to present deities and deity work is to compare it to human relationships and human interactions. I'm not saying to treat your deity as a human. I'm saying that, as with humans, each deity is different, and each deity is gonna perform and act differently with each of their worshippers or partners. And same for you. Each relationship that you'll have with each different deity, if you have many, is gonna be different. If you have 3 friends, you're not gonna be the same exact person with 3 of them. You're not gonna do the exact same things, you're not gonna talk about the exact same things or the exact same way, and the same is true with them. They're not gonna talk to you the same as they talk to others. Because each of you is different. And when you interact with someone, you take in account their differences, and they take in account yours. It's the same with deities. Deities are gonna interact with you in ways that you can understand. So some people hear their deities, some people don't. Some people interact differently with them because each and everyone is different. And one deity isn't gonna interact the same way with all their worshippers or all their partners. The same way as with human relationships, your relationship with the deity can start whenever and stop whenever, for whatever reason. it can stop like just like that because the deity or you lost interest in the relationship, or because you're not ready or they're not ready, or whatever the reason is, it can stop as fast as it started. And there's no rules to it, and it doesn't mean you did something wrong. It doesn't mean that the deity doesn't like you. It's just that, well, your paths are spreading apart. As with humans, sometimes friendships just like break or fade for no other reason than that's how life is. And that's something that you need to remember to be humble about. You're nothing but a human with a human life. And even in your relationship with your deity, you're still bound to this human life and human rules. And because you did so much for this deity now, doesn't mean that they'll expect it from you forever. And that's something also really important. You're not bound to your deity. If you decide to work with a deity at some point, and then you don't want to anymore, just stop. Give them a last offering, a last thanks. Tell them that you appreciate what they did, but that you're gonna move on. That this is the end and you're not gonna work with them anymore because you're doing something else. Because it doesn't work anymore for you, or you don't want to work. Whatever. It's fine, and they're not gonna be mad at you. Before I continue, I'm gonna state something that I should have stated a long time before. You do not need to work with a deity to be a valid practitioner or a valid witch. You can be a theist, or you can believe in them and not work with them. You can worship them and not work with them. You can whatever you want. As long as you respect them and as you respect the people who believe in them, there's not gonna be like your path and your craft is your own and your beliefs are your own. So don't force yourself to work with a deity if it's not for you, because it can not be for you and it's okay. Just find what works for you and go with it. And if deity work or worshipping or just believing in deities doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're less of a witch or less of a practitioner or less of a person. It just means that you don't believe in them or you don't work with them, and that's fine. Well, before I dive into how to work with a deity, I like to say that if you're a beginner practitioner or beginner witch, whatever the term you prefer, do not work with a deity. That is because deities are complicated beings and have a lot of energy, and as a beginner you don't have a whole understanding or control over your own energy. So if you're just starting and you're not yet confident or haven't yet mastered enough the basics, cleansing, protecting, grounding, and the basics of spell work, don't dive into deity work or anything. Don't call in energies, don't call external energies into your craft if you don't control your own energy yet. And that is really important, because if you do call external energies into your craft while not controlling your own, you're gonna be so overwhelmed and your spell work might just backfire or just go to extents you didn't imagine, or you're gonna lose control of your spell work and maybe of yourself, because you're calling in so many things that you don't even control, that you don't even apprehend, that you just can't handle them. So please, before trying anything with any external energy, whereas it is elements, deities, planets, whatever. Learn yourself first. Learn to work and control and comprehend your own energy. That's like really important, and that's the core of it. Okay, last disclaimer: deities are not your friend. Yes, I compared relationship with deities to friendship before, but I compare them to a relationship with another human as a metaphor to explain to you how it basically works. But they are not your best friend, they are not your mom, they are not whatever, they are your superior. Superior? See them as your teacher, or maybe not your boss, but like a sponsor, you know? You are having a working relationship with them. You give them and you expect them to give to you. You are partners. But they have higher parts in the company than you do. Because that's just how they are. Deities are just supreme, you know? So do not try, do not dismiss their superiority, because it is inevitable. And if you don't respect them for what they are, well, they're not gonna like you, they're not gonna want to work with you. Imagine if you're going into business and you're trying to get those investors to, fund your business. But you treat your investors as your friend, whereas you should treat them as business partners, then they're most likely not gonna like it. They're gonna expect of you to be more serious, to show them that you want to work, that you can give them something for what you want them to give you. Well, for deities, it's the same. You need to earn their trust and their respect. And to earn their respect, you need to show them that you respect them for what they are. Now that this is done and said, we can talk about offerings. Offerings are what you're gonna give your deity, either when you worship them or when you work with them. And they're gonna be personalized. And by that I mean they're gonna differ from each deity and for each person that worships this deity. Because the offering that you're gonna make need to connect to both you and the deity. If you give them an offering that you don't connect to, what is the point? Like if someone tells you that, for example, Aphrodite, she likes apples, she's associated with them, but you hate apples. Why would you give apples to Aphrodite as an offering if you're not even gonna like to even see them on your altar? If it's gonna be a pain for you, You want to find things that make you feel connected to your deity. For example, last spring I planted daisies for Persephone. I found in early summer, I didn't find it. My nephews gave me a model of a dinosaur, a skeleton dinosaur in wood, and that made me think of Hades, who I was trying to initiate a relationship with at the time. So I set it on my altar for him because it made sense to me, It's a dinosaur, it's dead. Hades rules the dead. It's from the soil, fossils are in the soil. So that's where he is, in the underworld. So to me, it made sense to have this for him, but it might not for you. and it's not, it's not traditionally associated with him. Like, you don't see on those websites or resources or in Greek poems that Hades works with the dinosaurs, because he doesn't, because the Greeks didn't even know of them. But it made sense to me, and it made me think of him. So that's how I decided to go. Obviously, don't drift too far away. Like, keep it connected to your deity, not just stuff that you like, because again, it's for them. Now, what else? Offerings can go from anything to food, from food to like actions. For food offerings, you can leave them on your altar for them. You just have to tell them that it's for them, and you can like eat it. That's what I do most of the time. I eat my offerings, mostly bread, but sometimes, I serve myself some pomegranate juice, and I'll serve a glass for Persephone or Hades, because that's, well, associated with them. And just, there's no wrong or, well, there's no right answer for how to make an offering, and there's no right way either. Just like, if you give them a food offering that you're not gonna eat, make sure pets or rodents or whatever can't access it, that it's only accessible to your deity, and make sure that it's still fresh. So like, if it rots, like, get rid of it, like, tell your deity you're gonna dispose of it, and dispose of it. What else? Yeah, research can be an offering to them, because it's a two-way relationship, so you gotta know a little bit about the other way, like the other side. You're learning to know them, you're making a step towards them, and in that sense, actions in your daily life can be offerings to them, as in act in accordance to their morals. Like, for example, who is that? Okay, I work with Persephone, so a lot of my work with her is to work in the garden when I'm with my parents, or with my plants when I'm here, because she's the goddess of spring and fertility. So to honor her, I honor her work, and I assist her in a way in her work, like by planting things. If that makes sense. Of course, like, if you worship Thanatos, don't kill people, please don't. There are other ways, I swear, but you get the idea. Work in accordance to their story, to their morals, to their role in the world, to the part of the universe and of life that they control. And a really important thing if you work with deities is to research about their pantheon. Pantheon? How do you pronounce that word? Anyways, to research their pantheon, if they are from a polytheist religion, or just to research their history, the literature about them, to research the culture they're from, and how they were worshipped at the time, because they come with a whole package. They come with a whole, they come with a whole context, and if you take them out of their context, well, they don't make sense anymore. It's like when you take a word out of context, you can do anything with it, but it only makes this sense in this context it comes from. And that's the same with deities. So that goes back to respecting them for who they are and what they are. It's respecting where they come from, because it's part of who and what they are. And if you don't respect that, and if you only focus on what they could mean today or how they're seen today, they might not like it, you know? It's like as if people only saw you in the context of this day, now, you know? Like, you're a whole package. You come with traumas, you come with memories, you come with a childhood, you come with a lot of things that happened to you. And all those things that happened to you shaped who you are. And dismissing all of that is dismissing your identity. So make sure you respect all of that in your deity if you want to work with them, or even if you just want to worship them. So I talked about offerings, but it's a two-way relationship, right? So what are they going to give you? Well, that depends entirely on the deity you're working with, because as each deity will control a certain part of the universe of life, they will not be able to give you the same things or the same things in the same way. So you need to make sure that what you're asking of them, they are able to deliver it to you, and they are able to deliver it to you in the way that you want it. So that said, again, that means knowing your deity and knowing what they come from, what they do, why they do it, how they do it. So let's say you want to work on a relationship spell. And let's work with a great pantheon, because that's the one I know. So you want to make a spell for love in your relationship with your partner, or your romantic partner. You can go with Aphrodite, or you can go with Hera, and they both will have different influences and different outcomes. Aphrodite is going to work on the passion and the lust, whereas Hera is going to work more on long-lasting relationship and marriage, because she's the goddess of marriage and marital duties, whereas Aphrodite is the goddess of love and passion. So anyways, what I'm saying is that Aphrodite might give you a boost of passion, whereas Hera might give you a boost of, a deeper connection with your partner on the spiritual level, whereas Aphrodite would be maybe more on the physical. And that's something that you have to consider when you plan out your spell work and when you plan out to ask your deity to help you with that, because it's gonna have different outcomes, and you need to make sure that what you want to achieve can be achieved with the help of your deity. And also, you don't need the deity to help you, because the energy you're putting out in the world is already yours. You're already doing it. They're only boosting your manifestation. They're helping you, but they're not doing the job for you. Which is also why it's important to know your own energy and spell work and all that jazz, because ultimately it all depends on you. Even if you work with the deity, they're not gonna do the work for you, and if you don't work in the physical realm to achieve your manifestation, they're not gonna do anything for you. They're not gonna help. So you need to do your job first, and then they can help you. You know, it's like if you're trying to get a job and you're putting all those applications out and you know someone who knows someone where you applied, well, you can ask them to help you to get in, or to have your application seen faster or just looked at. Whereas if you just do nothing and expect the universe to give it to you, it's not gonna work. The universe is not gonna give you anything that you don't work for. And deities work the same. If you don't move your ass to manifest the shit you're trying to manifest, and you're asking them to help you with, they're not gonna move theirs. They're not gonna move a finger for you if you don't move your ass, if you don't do the thing to manifest, you know, in the physical. And that's also why I said that you do not need a deity, because again, you are making the work. You're doing the job, okay? That's true. Like, anything that happens is your responsibility. The deity is helping you out. It's pushing you in the right direction, or giving you the boost of power and motivation or whatever that you need. But they are not doing anything for you. You are doing the job. And that's something really important to remember. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was informational. I hope you liked it. Like, it gave you some insight. Yeah, leave a like if you liked it. Share with a friend if you think they'll like it too. Leave a comment to tell me anything. I love reading your comments. Like, tell me how you like this video, what you would like to see next, what you would have liked to hear more of, how you work with deities or how you don't with them, why, whatever you want to talk about. And yeah, see you next time. Again, thank you so much for watching. Bye!